Heading into the 2020-21 season for UNC basketball, here at Inside Carolina, we are breaking down all the top storylines. I'm your host, Ross Martin, joined by Sherrell McMillan and Greg Barnes. Guys, this is a season unlike any other. We have the schedule now. It's a 27-game schedule. Fans, Duke's not having fans. Unlikely UNC will have any fans. Louisville's have a 10%, 15% capacity. There's a lot of changes in terms of travel, in terms of how big the traveling party will be, and certainly, like I said, the fan implications for college basketball this year. Sherrell, when you look at this whole pandemic, how do you kind of see this affecting UNC basketball the most this season?
Well, I think UNC basketball, much like Kentucky in most years and Duke in most years, is going to be heavily reliant on freshmen to contribute and to really kind of buttress their roster when it comes to scoring. And if the NBA bubble showed us anything, is that when guys have ideal conditions, meaning not a lot of travel, not a lot of fans, not a lot of noise, they make shots at a high clip. They play offense really well. So that could kind of counter the thoughts about freshmen and shooting, because if you're in an empty arena, it's not going to be that much different aside from the players on the court than, an AAU game or anything. So these guys are used to that. And I think, self-starting is going to be huge for a lot of players. I think if you're someone who needs the crowd or who needs that extra jolt to get you to play your best, you're going to have to figure out a way to kind of harness that, because it's not going to be there. So those are the two biggest things I think of, aside from all the stuff about whether or not they're actually going to play the games, is the freshmen not having the environment that they're used to going up against, and then the ability for people to kind of bring their own energy.
Yeah, I mean, you're not even kind of looking deeply at how much this team's going to have to bubble. The change in the class schedule certainly affects practice time and things like that. So a lot of things we don't know about. Greg, we've talked in the past. I mean, Duke, no fans. Cameron Indoor Stadium, no fans. That's going to be completely different. With you covering games and knowing the impact of fans, how do you think that kind of affects a team like UNC with six freshmen, but definitely some veterans and all the dynamics that go into a stadium on game day?
Well, I look at a lot of these games and some tough places to play, right? At NC State, that's always a crazy crowd. You mentioned Duke, Syracuse tends to be pretty wild. A lot of people can fit in the Carrier Dome. Clemson can get loud. Florida State always has a good crowd when they're good. Georgia Tech's a tough place to play. So a lot of these teams that North Carolina will have to travel to may not be that daunting of a task, and that's the benefit. But the one that really stands out to me, kind of to your question, Ross, is Iowa. I can think back to any number of these early season games, whether it be at Illinois. I'm trying to think what year that was, but that was a game that got ugly for North Carolina. Indiana stands out. Marcus Page's freshman year.
Gonzaga. I remember Gonzaga one year had a rowdy stadium too.
Yeah. So it's when you're able to go early in the year, especially with freshmen, and it's not a crazy scene, that's beneficial. And I think that's something that's going to help North Carolina. Do you lose the energy? Yeah, of course, especially at home. But I think what happens on the road kind of outweighs what you lose at home.
For sure. I mean, this could be change of the betting spreads when you look at how much a Cameron Indoor could impact one game. So certainly a factor to look into. And who knows if that will change as we get from January, February to March about fans at arenas for college basketball this year.